If you are a woman over 40 and you haven't started investing seriously yet, or you just started and you feel like it's too late, I need you to hear this. I am 45 years old. I did not start investing seriously until the age of 44. Now, I had invested and dabbled with it a little bit in my 30s. I had a financial planner and I had some money in the market, just a little bit, but then life happened. And in 2020, I had to pull that money out and I never put it back in. So essentially, I had to start over at 44 years old. But I refused to stay in the place of shame and I made a 20-year plan. So in today's video, I'm going to walk you through that plan. That way you can take whatever works for you and apply it to your life. So before I get into this plan, let me just be real with you and tell you why it took me so long, because I think it's so easy to judge when you do not know that life happens to a lot of people. I know I'm not the only one. When I was in my 20s and 30s, I was literally in survival mode. I wasn't in a saving place. I was dealing with a lot. I was laid off 5 times within a 5-year period during the 2008 crash. And every time I got back on my feet, something else would happen and knock me right back down. I was dealing with some health issues. I was constantly in and out of the hospital. I've had multiple surgeries and I was in debt when it came to medical debt. So there wasn't a lot of money that I could actually invest because I needed everything to either survive or to pay off debts. And when I did get some money, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I spent it. There was times where I just needed something for myself. And I wasn't in a place where I was surrounded by individuals who taught me what to do with it. And even when I had a financial advisor in my 30s, he never took the time to walk me through why it's important to invest, compound interest. This is the things that you need to do. And so lesson learned. But I kept telling myself over the years, especially since I've been an entrepreneur, I kept telling myself, when I make more money, I will start. But then what happens is you never end up starting. And so that is what kept me stuck for so many years, because I never felt like I had enough money to start. So it wasn't one big mistake. It was really years of not knowing what I know now that kept me in that stuck position. And honestly, looking back, I would say that had I have known that information, I would definitely be in a different place, especially since I had the drive and the spirit to really make something happen in my life. But here's the thing. Once I stopped waiting and dwelling, I sat down and I mapped everything out, and I came to realize that I actually have 3 buckets that I can fill at once in order for me to catch up. So the first bucket is my Roth IRA, or IRA, as someone said in yesterday's video. And so a Roth IRA lets you put in after tax dollars. That way, when you withdraw the money, you actually don't pay any taxes on that growth. And so what happened in 2026 is they increased the contribution. So right now, maximum annually, you can contribute $7,500. Now, this is under the age of 50. Now, once you hit 50 years old, your maximum annual contribution is actually $8,600. So that is amazing, because once you hit 50, you can actually catch up even faster. Now, here's the thing. My goal right now is to max it out every year. Now, I haven't hit that point yet because I'm still working on my debt. And I do have good news. I am one debt away from actually being able to just work on my retirement plan literally full time. So yesterday I cleared another debt. So that is number 5 out of 7, and I have 1 more to go to make 6 out of 7, and my last debt is my student loans, and I'll do a separate video talking about what I have planned for that. But with that being said, my plan, once I finish this last debt, is to then max out my Roth IRA at the $7,500 and then work on my SEP next, okay? So this is the account, though, I have to say that most women over 40 do not know about and haven't started. So if this is you, I want to say that this is your sign to look into it. Right now, I have my Roth IRA as well as my SEP with Vanguard. So you can go ahead and look them up, but there's also other places where you can have your account as well. Now, here's where it gets good. Because I'm a self-employed woman, I actually get access to something that most people don't even know about. It's called a SEP IRA. So a SEP IRA is a retirement account specifically for self-employed individuals, and it allows you to contribute up to 20% of your net self-employment income. And for 2026, that maximum amount annually is $72,000. Now, this is great because this is completely separate from my Roth. So my Roth maximum is $7,500, but then my SEP, I can put in 20% of my annual self-employment income. Now, this is amazing because what it allows me to do is now I'm filling 2 buckets at once every single year. Now, here's the thing. This is the advantage of being self-employed. And I believe this is why it's important that we all have to do our own research. Even when it comes to the numbers, you need to run it for yourself. You need to make sure it's accurate. You need to make sure that you look into what's going to be best for you because everyone's different. And so my plan, the reason why I'm able to catch up quickly is because I am self-employed. I don't have a 401k. And essentially a SEP IRA allows you to invest a lot more than someone who has a 401k. So just as I mentioned, I have my Roth IRA, I have my SEP IRA, and then I have another bucket that I can put my money in. And this is bucket number 3, and this actually changes everything. So bucket number 3 is my brokerage account. This is completely separate from my retirement account. So it's a regular investment account. It is not a retirement account because there is no contribution limit. So I can invest as much money as I want, as frequently as I want. There is no cap. The reason why this is so essential for someone who is starting over the age of 40 is because this allows you to close the gap. Because you can put as much money as quickly as possible, you can actually catch up, especially if you have multiple income streams funding that account. So after thinking about it this week, actually yesterday, I made the decision to actually open up a new brokerage account in Vanguard. I already have my Roth there. I already have my SEP there. I want everything to be in one place. Currently, I have a brokerage account with SoFi and it's completely fine. What I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it there and allow it to grow over the next 20 years, but I'm no longer going to be funding those ETFs. The ETFs that are already there are going to grow with the 8% return, or maybe it's going to be a 10% return. We don't know, but it's going to be there. However, I am going to be opening up a brand new brokerage with Vanguard, and I made the decision that I'm going to be investing in VTI. I want to keep my investments simple. So VTI is the Vanguard Total Stock Market Index Fund, which covers the entire US market. I think for me, that is the best bet, is just to stick to one index fund and not to be all over the place. Because for me, it's all about consistency and it's all about simplicity. I don't want to overcomplicate this. I just want to catch up. And yes, as I get further along, as I make more money, maybe I'll focus on diversification. But one of the things that I realized yesterday, especially I'm reading this book, it made me realize that sometimes when you're getting started and you overcomplicate things, that's when people get discouraged and they stop and they're not consistent. So for me, it's going to be VTI. Maybe in the future, I may do the mutual fund, VTSAX. But for right now, I'm going to keep it simple and I'm not going to overcomplicate the process. Everyone's going to be different. I hear about diversification, especially when it comes to ETFs. However, for me, this is the plan that's going to work. And so when I sat down and actually ran the numbers of what the numbers would look like in all 3 buckets, that's when it clicked and I realized, okay, I still have time. I'm not going to panic. So let's say that you are investing $500 a month. And now we're talking about in your brokerage account. So $500 a month at an 8% return for the next 20 years, you are looking close to $295,000. So it's a little shy of 295 when I actually did the math. Now, this is not an estimate. I know in my other videos, I kind of gave a guesstimate, but this is the actual number. Okay. So we're looking around $295,000. Now, let's say that you're able to get that number up to $2,000 a month. Now, I know that's a lot of money for a lot of people, but let's just say that you're able to do that because you have additional income streams. Around 8% return, now you're looking at about $1.18 million by the time you're 65. And that is just one bucket. This is amazing because imagine that. That is one account. We're not talking about your SEP IRA yet if you are self-employed, and that 20% of your self-employment income that you put in every single year. We're also not talking about your Roth that is maxed at the 7,500 when you're under 50, and then now 8,600 when you are over 50. Now those numbers can change because year by year they are increasing those numbers. So just keep in mind if you are watching this in the future to make sure that you look that up to make sure that they are accurate numbers. So with that being said, that is one bucket. And then when you add that other bucket and the other bucket, now you are actually sitting in a really good place. And so this is why now I'm not stressed. I understand compound interest. I understand the importance of consistency, and I'm not trying to time the market. I'm just trying to invest every single month and leave my money in as long as possible. And that's exactly why I have built 7 income streams, because those 7 streams are now funding each and every one of these buckets. And like I just mentioned, I am one debt away to finally being done for this year. And when I finish, that is over $20,000 in debt that I've paid this year. So right now I'm a little over 14,000. I think it's 14,700 and something that I've paid off, cleared. And I have an additional $5,500 left. And hopefully I can do that by the end of this summer. And so with that being said, once those debts are done, I just have my student loans. I'm going to be working out a plan soon, and I believe that I'll be working that plan out in 2027. And in the meantime, I'm going to heavily be throwing money towards my brokerage account, my Roth, and my SEP, and really just focus on catching up. And so if you are a woman over 40 and you are just getting started with investing, or you're thinking about getting started with investing, you now have 3 buckets that you can fill. And if you didn't know, now you know. You have your Roth IRA. If you have not opened that up, that's the first step that I would ask you to do. You also have your SEP IRA if you are self-employed. Remember, 20% of your self-employment income can then be put in that account at a maximum of $72,000 per year. Then you also have your brokerage account, which there's no cap. This allows you to actually close the gap if you are just getting started. And you can put as much money in there at that 8% to 10% return. That's going to give you a really good cushion when it comes time to retire at 65. If you want to retire earlier, like at 55, like I do, then you really need to be consistent and really start to put as much money as possible in those accounts. And also, like I mentioned all the time, make sure you have multiple income streams that can be funding those accounts. Because if you have a side hustle that's bringing in $1,500 a month and your 9 to 5 already covers all your expenses, then guess what? You can just be throwing money into that brokerage account. You can close the gap pretty quickly. Now, if you have not opened up any of these accounts, I want to ask you what is holding you back. Go ahead and put your questions in the comment section. I'll be more than happy to answer them. I'm learning as I'm going. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not getting everything right away. I'm making corrections. I'm making adjustments. I may make some mistakes sometimes in my videos, and I'll come back and make those updates and corrections as well. But what I'm saying is what's important. I got started. And it's going to be messy. But guess what? I'm so proud of myself that I'm taking messy action, because taking messy action is better than taking no action. And so I'm here to encourage you to do the same. If you are new to my channel, I want to welcome you. My name is Dupe Alaru, and this was your Daily Dose with Dupe. I hope it resonated. I hope this was the sign that you needed to get started. And if it was, you made my day. If you are new and you would like to subscribe, I will welcome you to join our community and come back because there's a lot more that I'm going to be covering in these upcoming weeks. Until next time, I want to wish you all a beautiful and blessed day.